Mr. Lynch likes Original forever. Good morning, Mr. Massimo Simpli, Mr. Massimo Simpli. Or simply, 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 dai. Is there not Lynch? This is the these are last 10 days, exactly this just showed you the for in practical analysis of 10 years. In fact, 10 days it will be exceeded. Mr. Lynch says the birth is no much better me, and so the 4 will become 5, and so sum of 5 plus 5, and means also 10, practically 10 and the 0 in the date of the birthday is the very one of the Lynch. It's January 10, sorry, the date is January 26, so this year 2026, and this it's Saturday evening. Yesterday was midnight, right? Then became into the club, also now in fact it's totally cloudy. The wine really today, also tonight, right? Really cold and heavy. And it's between 14 and 2 minus 50 Fahrenheit 10 Celsius, and this means that it's really cold like in Siberian. Classica GT, the for the winter period, so sta forza friasico, si può conseguire effettivamente nel Corrias on June 17 was factory to come friasico the ports as a last for some as absolutely not remember if you follow with me bring last for some I think body factory to overcome friasico the ports are due to also for the winter we overcoming them because we entered in fact practically 20 days ago and 16 più precisely in Italy or 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy in Italy privata se as Rapson non remember think body so body which is supposed to I'm sure to I see the remember things for him simultaneously my proposal fact that we should to join is better not perhaps paradox you for me I did this you and take a position so for the spring esame di aiuto che si fa con lo spring su stage di soft per l'esame di agenti for the auto anziché di agenti soft sono stati già provvisti su proprietà così che agenti così che gli ghini se triste mi questo è un certo club assolutamente bene ripeto no mi si via non because it's winter it's cold but when I see the sentence absolutely incomplete. I'm referring to me, referring to me in particular, perhaps for this period, for the fact that I feel cold less than other people, and thanks to a series of back to practice that I follow those in years, which I will start very cold, as when I come the winter period, the cold period, I always had a comment which I can explain what I do practice, also in this case, but this is first. I will tweet in the first part of first comment with an asterisk, so with an asterisk. I will tweet in the first part in the first comment with an asterisk, so someone is interested in this first part of the comment with an asterisk, so con votare su Prax, yes, I don't know if it's più, I think or not, in fact if it's called I think yes, but I don't know if it's them, but I think 95% if it's called ovvero in genere non sembra mi formi questo good stia ma to scatto sotto scangiato absolute I can see something just fooling is it e beh tristissimo fa che mi fa ma fungo mi sa Ingrid Afron I think at the tempo ti si quanti si ripeti just figura 50 fare nel tenso cioè l'importante thing is to atmosphere si anticipi se foto essere sicurtino su che suppose a cantare da ripetere di Sky anzi i cloudi altri cloudi ma questi lì and according conseguendo i trends last 10 practically 18 days according to what I read according my sensations everything I think it's possible not supposed most practically sure that later might became later from because obviously and after might became darker bigger and also that might rain for a few moments so before it was raining let's say we see with laptop also si che siamo non so ciò ma da sua no bisogna immaginare su Twitter si può si inizia che come scrive tu di bella so si riesco from the mythical win, nuovo cortino in frase, lungo frase, mix, in frase, ci sono cortini senza la non è che posso Robertino, non davanti, però su cortini in particolare, te Robertino avere per i cortini, per il suo cortino, per il suo cortino, il suo pente per il bench, aspetta, riempire passi, sono per il suo cortino, all things related, you might see already on in case one of my comments in comment section, should be the point, the first comment, perhaps fourth comment, one of them obviously comment section, e la nozione di notare sit, o sit uguali formi, si ottiene, ne organimi, efficacia. See the green flowers along with flowers and mixed with the plants. Or if not, even better, usually better from this other shot practice, first part of video which Perugia showed you the weather scarce change from this window better, this classical window in the classical room, because the resources that aren't mythical window, the other mythical room. Or for a broader perspective, also in Israel practice shot, a shot similar to the classical shot, I think more interesting for the press curtain, beautiful girl curtain beat with the beautiful paint with branch traps also for the first curtain with the report, the color curtain, but even if I don't remember exactly this, surely the color curtain is still in cover image of Rishan and sono in meta mesh change it, and this shot also is to effect, buff when there is the glory shoot and also when there is, but more when there is, because effects measure. Now I'll see the little picture center structure and also in this case I also did for the previous curtain, beautiful curtain repeat with the beautiful with the branches, and also in case for the first curtain, the curtain if also in case I'm trying to exactly this, also in case now I see Reddit for this new curtain, sorry but repeat expression, also in this case for first times, whereas and the little picture sentence is this, but also and always better visible for me, its entity, it is a shot. Il indice shot, anticipanti mitico, legendary shot. And as regarding the shooter new activism, but fact mistake activism and first days of last October, but this isn't important at all because important that also this activism, so in this case I also read see the little special center used for the curtain because also valid also for it, so I repeat once again, but also and always better visible for me in its entirety, in its shot, at this point meet con leggenda shot. And finally, from a mythical keyboard AGX 1740 APG 625 also indicates from this mythical legendary shot. Yeah, questi molto people, solo legendary parts, that's like getting together. So I'm blaming my sister. So myself, across Boschese, and finally, I hope you all have a great breakfast. Let's eat in general. Also, as many beans last December 2025 for not completely because from another late in this video this kind of normal to me this hours time late not and yes no yes above all the importance that West fare for the reaction seminar to the street was starting fact and breakfast fiantene assembly start with fiantene department the was yesterday think the record is record seminar to the street so stracio. Ora tu repeat gli corsi di carriera gli tools from hours from elite from another elite no. They are just really obviously just included for the end of minutes. But the important thing is the memory set in some way also be for 20 minutes so memory young and as we always say breakfast sono most beautiful for absolutely Dat nu sinds most 1 year, first perhaps also more than 1 year, I also lost think like the fact of X for a reason on Friday. My for no reason it crashed practically 3 weeks ago, and the beautiful, it was the fifth in also with reports, beautiful red, black, and also white. 30 different ones in comparison to the previous, so perhaps no, if they follow for those who follow in particular the Friday with reports. Well, yes, well, this should be tiny repeat, but I promise you it 1 day or 1 time, so every time I check better basically just started to seeing some in this picture, and for the shots of using to joke because we're talking about most one but insomma was soon for the big so my favorite fact there are many beautiful combos with beautiful biscuits, and yes, I think it's one of the most mathematical steps. Biscuits are chocolate chip cookies, although cookies chip chocolate chips. För att de inte så vet du vissa linjer. Allt in particolare, tu inizia a vedere adesso sono fatto mica fa questo shot non che ti coffee bisogno tu sai quel shot che cosa da fare shot fare ben viso shot ne mi flaste finca se ve mon fa sai che lo conosci per sapere adesso noi vediamo per su better there was a money quick refinish now there is one thing so brought it once I think 176 77 28 days so sai che lo sto conosci per sapere per proprio 50 persone adesso non ne vediamo per su and so since that moment that today iPad inserted it once again in the mix, so very good news. E uniti si vostre tecniche se breakfast, cosa pompa, spero in particolare a me, vabbè, ma infatti che se sta pire c'è gioco, ma tu che batto massonia, so per corso mi difendo, forse stanno se pire. E ogni finziamo che sono che tulla, Nicola se breakfast, forse mega babba. Secondo che se faccio sia e infrare bio sia stare a cona, de taranzi, ragazzi, mi sa siamo più posizione, proprio solo su casa con il pamo, attingere un secondo preso posizione. Because attraverso questa posizione fa vedere la pamma. Italians, fa cosa tu come name tu, and magari ti metti lettere today. I don't didn't have them since many times, so since few days I met once again them. Because they are really super bar. Adesso un tumore se poi si fa un tempo, perché non ti tumore, molto con lui l'epe. Ma guarda, sì.